Why do some women leave such a strong impression that they seem to carry a piece of high society with them wherever they go? Dior and Chanel knew exactly how to translate this effect into fashion. And the most curious part, the formula for achieving this may be within reach of any woman who knows how to use it. Take Chanel, for example, a woman who came from humble beginnings and revolutionized fashion by replacing suffocating corsets with comfortable pieces, all while maintaining sophistication. And Dior? He transformed post-war fashion with the iconic new look, bringing back luxurious femininity to a devastated world. Interestingly, both Chanel and Dior believed that true elegance wasn't just in clothing, but in how a woman carried herself, how she moved, spoke, and most importantly, lived. Here's the crucial question. Are you living your life as a truly elegant woman? Or are you still making mistakes that Dior and Chanel would have dismissed without hesitation? If you want to learn how to translate their timeless elegance into your daily life and turn it into a tool of personal power, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave a like. Elegance isn't just a privilege, it's a choice. And if you dream of traveling the world with the same sophistication as a high society lady, you need to check out my ebook, Be Elegant While Traveling: Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler. It's waiting for you in the pinned comment. Elegance doesn't take a vacation, not in your life, nor on your travels. Elegance in times of crisis, what fashion teaches us about resilience and style. During World War II, Paris wasn't just a backdrop of pain and occupation, it was also the epicenter of a quiet transformation. Women, once confined to corsets and heavy garments, began seeking a style that reflected freedom and renewal. But how did this happen amidst chaos? And what does it have to do with how you dress today? When the war ended, Europe was devastated. There was rationing, poverty, and a widespread sense of loss. Clothes reflected this too. Simple fabrics, economical cuts, and functionality above all. But then, in 1947, Christian Dior introduced an idea completely opposed to the spirit of the time: the new look. It featured voluminous skirts, cinched waists, and a glamour that seemed almost forbidden in a world still scarred by war. Dior wasn't just designing clothes, he was making a quiet act of rebellion. While everyone accepted practical and economical as the norm, Dior chose to reimagine beauty at a time when it was scarce. This teaches us something valuable. Sometimes true elegance is about resisting your environment and creating beauty where none exists. On the other hand, Chanel took a completely different path. While Dior celebrated exaggerated femininity, Chanel championed simplicity and comfort. This created a clash not just of styles, but of philosophies. Chanel believed women should be free from excessive adornment, while Dior sought to reclaim lost delicacy. Their rivalry wasn't just about fashion, it was about how they each saw the role of women in post-war society. Here's a practical takeaway for you. We live in different times, but the dilemma remains the same. Ask yourself, are you prioritizing what's merely functional, or are you investing in a style that elevates your essence? Post-war fashion reminds us that style can be a tool for rebuilding, not just your appearance, but your self-esteem. Dior and Chanel proved that even in times of crisis, appearance matters, not as superficiality, but as a way of saying to the world, I'm still here, I'm still strong. The next time you choose what to wear, ask yourself, what does your outfit say about the woman you want to be? Rivalry and reinvention. What Dior and Chanel teach us about timeless elegance? Christian Dior and Coco Chanel, two names that not only transformed fashion but also lived in constant tension. Have you ever stopped to think that without this rivalry, neither of them might have achieved the same level of impact? It's as though one depended on the other to exist, while simultaneously striving to outdo each other at every turn. Dior arrived at a moment when the world craved beauty, creating the new look with full skirts and cinched waists that promised to restore women's sense of being celebrated. But Chanel, ever practical and straightforward, considered it a step backward. To her, the modern woman didn't have time for so many layers. She needed something that combined comfort with strength. This clash wasn't just about clothing, it was about worldviews. While Dior glorified delicacy and the rebirth of femininity, Chanel attacked his vision, calling his designs outdated fantasies. The public loved them both, but for completely different reasons. Who was right? This rivalry comes to life in Apple TV Plus's series The New Look, which takes us behind the scenes of the brilliant minds behind haute couture. With Juliette Binoche playing a relentless Chanel and Ben Mendelsohn portraying a strategic and visionary Dior, the series delves into how they each navigated the world around them and their own fears and insecurities. Dior, for instance, was deeply superstitious, and made decisions based on omens and astrology. Chanel, on the other hand, carried the shadow of a humble childhood and used her ambition to ensure she was never underestimated again. What we learn here is fundamental. Great rivalries don't destroy, they shape. Chanel needed Dior to question her own limits, and Dior needed Chanel's criticism to refine his ideas. It's the kind of competition that not only challenges, but elevates. How does this apply to your life? Think about your own journey. How many times have you felt threatened by someone who seemed one step ahead of you? But could that threat be transformed into motivation? Like Chanel and Dior, perhaps it's precisely that tension that will bring out your best. The true lesson here is clear. It's not just about finding your style, but using it as a response to the world around you. When you discover who you truly are, elegance, in your behavior, your speech, and your appearance, naturally follows. Elegance is in the details. What Dior and Chanel reveal about transformative style. Have you ever noticed that the most elegant people aren't always adorned with jewels or dressed in the most expensive clothes? There's something in the small details, a perfect fit, a graceful movement, a confident gaze, that sets them apart. This is exactly what Dior and Chanel taught us with their opposing yet complementary visions. When Dior launched the new look in 1947, the world was divided. He introduced cinched waists, voluminous skirts, and luxurious fabrics, challenging the pragmatism of post-war fashion. Women were accustomed to practical clothing, but Dior dared to remind the world that dressing could be an act of renewal. His creations weren't just garments, they were declarations that beauty still had a place in difficult times. Chanel, on the other hand, responded with another provocation. For her, it wasn't excess that defined style, but thoughtful simplicity. Her mantra, "Before you leave, take one accessory off," was a manifesto against the superfluous. Her approach was clear. True luxury lies in knowing what to leave out, not what to accumulate. Dior sought immediate visual impact. Chanel prioritized practicality and longevity. Both were right, but for different reasons. And it's in this tension that we learn the first lesson. No matter which style you choose, the secret lies in the intention. Clothing should tell your story, not just follow trends. How can you bring this into your daily life? Let's break it down. Dior teaches us the power of a well-tailored piece. You don't have to wear a voluminous dress, but a blazer that highlights your silhouette or a well-placed belt can make all the difference. Chanel reminds us that less is more. Think about how a single quality item, a structured bag or a simple pearl, can effortlessly elevate your look. Women who wear outfits that enhance their self-esteem report feeling more confident in challenging situations, such as interviews or social events. What you wear not only reflects who you are, but can also shape how you feel. Here's the takeaway. Before choosing your clothes, ask yourself, does this enhance who I am, or is it just filling space in my wardrobe? Dior and Chanel show us that style goes beyond fashion. It's about intention, presence, and how you present yourself to the world. The power of connections, how partnerships shaped fashion and timeless style. Did you know that Christian Dior's success wasn't built alone? By his side were brilliant minds like Pierre Balmain and a young Yves Saint Laurent, who would later become fashion giants themselves. But here's the interesting point. These partnerships weren't just conveniences. They were the foundation for redefining how the world perceived style. When Dior introduced the new look, he opened the door to an era of boldness and innovation. At the same time, Pierre Balmain was developing his own style, combining structured cuts with a blend of modernity and classic elegance. Their time together at Lucien Lelong's house during the Nazi occupation wasn't accidental. It was a meeting of minds united by the vision of transforming fashion into a higher art form. While Dior focused on glamour and exaggerated femininity, Balmain leaned toward functional elegance, creating a contrast that enriched both of their creative visions. These differences didn't divide them. Instead, they fostered a kind of healthy rivalry that pushed their creations further. Yves Saint Laurent, on the other hand, joined as Dior's apprentice but quickly began questioning the rules. He respected traditions, but saw the need to modernize them. When he took over Dior's creative direction in 1957, he brought a younger, bolder approach, proving that fashion is, above all, a reflection of its time. What does this teach us? Great ideas rarely emerge in isolation. The fashion we now consider timeless is the result of meetings, lessons, and even creative conflicts between visionary minds. A study published in the Harvard Business Review highlights that collaborative partnerships are 30% more productive when there's a diversity of ideas and personalities, something Balmain, Dior, and Saint Laurent personified. How can you apply this to your life? Think about the people around you. Are you surrounded by those who challenge your ideas and stimulate your growth? Or are you clinging to those who only confirm what you already know? Just as Dior needed Balmain and Saint Laurent to expand his vision, your elegance, in style, posture, and attitude, might be waiting for influences that push you out of your comfort zone. The lesson here is clear. Fashion isn't created in isolation, and neither is elegance. It's born from dialogue between clothes, personalities, and even distinct eras. After all, what would Dior be without Balmain and Saint Laurent? And what would you be without the connections that shape who you are? Small changes, big impact. Unlocking the potential of your style. Have you ever stopped to think about how small adjustments to your style can dramatically impact how you're perceived? Today, we explored how Dior brought femininity to the forefront during a time of reconstruction, and how Chanel broke the rules to grant women more freedom. This leads us to a crucial question. What have you done to ensure your presence conveys exactly the message you want to send? As we've seen, elegance isn't just about clothing. It's in every detail: the perfect cut, your posture, and the confidence of someone who knows what they're doing. Are you truly harnessing the full potential of your style? Or are you missing something essential, like the right accessories that can completely transform a look? This brings us to the next step: understanding the power of accessories to create effortless elegance. Did you know that even the simplest outfits can be elevated with a well-chosen accessory? A statement belt, understated earrings, or a quality handbag might be exactly what you need to instantly elevate your look. Here's your invitation. Watch the video, The Power of Accessories for Effortless Elegance, and discover how small touches can create a high-class impact. After all, as we've learned today, it's not about excess or fleeting trends, but about finding what communicates who you truly are. If you want to continue on this journey of transformation, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Every time you learn to dress and carry yourself more elegantly, you're investing in your success. Because elegance is profitable. Write in the comments, lessons from the style of Dior and Chanel, if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check the links in the pinned comment. You'll find some incredible recommendations for elegant products to help you take the next steps in your transformation.